today, and I'm not going to delay much on talking so that we can get to every bit of the information that Mr. Jon wants to share with us. He has worked in healthcare and well-being for over 30 years, and he has very much the experience in helping people to shift their mindset, their moods. They help people with the challenges that we are facing, and we are so thankful that he is here. It seems like in essence, based on his many years of clinical experience, Jon knows what works for most people. As we all know, along the way, common sense and keeping things easy has sometimes gotten lost. But it isn't that complicated, and it shouldn't be that complicated. It should all be about the basics, the foundation, and the building blocks that helps keep people to reconnect with what feels good and with what matters to them. And what we want to do is at this time introduce Jon to you. And Jon, please go right ahead and introduce yourself and take over, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Jon Bockelmann-Evans. I'll introduce myself more fully in a moment. First of all, let me say a huge thank you to Hank initially, who I connected with on LinkedIn, and then to Norma for inviting me to speak to you all this evening. I say this evening, for you guys it's midday, isn't it? For me, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. And in about an hour, my wife and I are going around to some friends of ours who are Scottish to celebrate Burns Night. Now, any of you who may have Scottish heritage will know that Robbie Burns is Scotland's most famous and best poet. And once a year around this time of year, they have a big celebration, our Scottish friends, where we go and eat haggis. We drink a lot of whiskey and we toast Robbie Burns. And I've been asked to give the toast this evening. So I'm going straight from speaking to you guys to then putting on my best Scottish accent and talking about Robbie Burns with some whiskies inside me. So I'll try not to get the two mixed up. Right, I've worked a lot with people. I go through my background in a sec, but I am honored to be here. You'll see where I'm going with all of this in a moment. So let's get stuck into it. The broad format for today. I've got a little presentation that I've worked out, and you'll see some slides, and I'll kind of come and go. And then we'll get to the point where I will be asking you guys to get involved. For me, well-being is about doing stuff. It's no good just talking about doing stuff. You've got to move, you've got to activate, you've got to engage. That's what makes a difference in well-being. It's the big problem I see in the corporate world is there's a lot of talking about well-being and very often not much action, which means not much changes. But I tend to know that people who have compromises as a result of health conditions tend to be very good at engaging. And I'm hoping that will be the case with you guys as well. Okay, let's get stuck into it. So I am going to disappear and press this button. And then I am kind of still here, but there's no point me dodging around. So hopefully now you can see my nice slide. Oh, I forgot to say that in the bit where I asked you to get involved, I will encourage you to have your cameras on and to turn your microphones on as well, so we can all see and hear each other. Depending on how it turns out, it could be 200 people all going crazy. It's too much for Zoom. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's get stuck in. So here we go. Where are we? Yes. So this is the title. Introduce yourself. I put that on there because as I get older, I sometimes forget to do the obvious things. So my name is Jon Bockelmann-Evans. I am the Evans bit, and my wife, who is German, is the Bockelmann bit. Over here in the UK, Evans, it's probably the same in the States, is a very common surname. There are thousands of us. So in a very vain attempt to liven up my boring Welsh surname, I convinced my wife that we should double barrel when we got married. So now I have this very exotic Bockelmann-Evans surname. We're the only people in the world with that surname, which means we're very easy to find And there's good and bad in that. So I'm Jon Bockelmann-Evans. I'm known as the Instant Wellbeing Guy. My background professionally, I started off as a physiotherapist, which you guys refer to as a physical therapist. I trained and I worked in the University Hospital of Wales. I worked in all sorts of different medical departments for quite some time. In particular, I worked in a clinic that helped to treat people with stress-related problems. And in that clinic, they taught me cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a form of psychotherapy, and I went on and qualified as a psychotherapist. So it meant now that I could treat people from a physical and a psychological point of view at the same time. One therapist, mind and body. Makes total sense. The hospital managers hated it. They couldn't square that circle. Well, we have psychologists for the brain, and we have physical therapists for the body. I'm like, yeah, but people are not just a brain and a body. They're a whole unit. You need one therapist. Yeah, anyway. So in 2000, I was invited to run my first ever training course. And within a year or so, it proved so popular, helping people to manage stress, that I left the health service here in the UK. I became self-employed, and now I am a keynote speaker, which means I rock up at conferences and conventions and I talk to people. Here are some of my clients. I guess the ones you might have heard of are people like Nike, Dow, Merck Pharmaceuticals. ConocoPhillips are a huge Texan oil company. The rest are all UK based, so you won't have heard of them. In this session today, what are we going to cover? So I want to simplify what well-being is. I'm on my high horse at the moment about how complicated and overwhelming well-being has become. The well-being industry has gone nuts. 20 years ago, when it started, it was pretty simple. Now, all sorts of companies are involved. They all want to reinvent the wheel. And as a result, well-being has become an absolute minefield. And people feel confused. They don't know what to do to do their well-being. There's too many things going on. For me, it's about keeping it simple. So I'll talk you through that when we get to it. Okay. I love pressing a button. I'm in, I'm out, I'm gone, I'm here. So simplifying what well-being is, show you how easy it is to have good well-being. It is not as difficult as some people want to make out it is. Some of those big companies make it look difficult because then you have to pay them for longer. I'm going to demonstrate to you the joy activation formula and how easy that is to integrate into your lives and why it's essential to do. If we don't do it, we run all sorts of risks to our emotional and mental health. And I'm going to encourage you to build laughter into your daily lives, even if you think you haven't got much to laugh about. And I can easily imagine I do not have any of the conditions that SPF represents, but everyone has their issues. Even if it's not a health issue, everyone has issues. And sometimes it feels like there's not much worth laughing about. I'm here to tell you that laughter is in and of itself worth doing. You don't need something to laugh at in order to laugh, and I'll show you how later. But do what you are comfortable doing, okay? There's no pressure from me. When I encourage you to get involved, you can do it or you can not do it. If you're having a really bad day, don't worry about it. Don't do it. If you want to do it, do it. That's my shtick all the way through. Do what you're comfortable with. Okay, where are we starting off? Okay, well-being, here we go. So, defining well-being, let's have a look. Oh yeah, just to start off with, your well-being is mainly down to you. I come across this a lot, that people think that their well-being is the responsibility of their boss or their partner or their kids or their neighborhood or their life circumstances or their bank balance. It's not. Your well-being is your responsibility. No one has more to do with your well-being than you. It is influenced by those around you, of course. We don't live in isolation. If someone's horrible to you or you're going through a tough time with something, then it does have an effect. But ultimately, you can't sidestep the fact that you and we and we're all responsible for our own well-being. So let's have a look defining well-being. Couple of issues just to get these out the way. The first issue with well-being, and anyone who's ever had anything to do with well-being will have had this issue, is this one. We don't really know how to spell it. That's the first big issue. I prefer one word, well-being. My spell checker on my computer hates that and tries to hyphenate it. You'll see all three. I don't know which is correct. But what that tells us is where there's not consensus on how to spell a word, usually there's also not consensus on what that word means. And that's very true of well-being. It's very difficult to pin down exactly what well-being is. Then, number two, the second issue. If I asked you to just go through in your mind some things that you know that you could do that generally boost your well-being, what would those things be? This is where in a live situation, I'd say, okay, call out, put your hand up, let me know. You could type in the chat here, just go through it mentally, make a list. I'm guessing, second guessing that the kind of things that people typically say when I ask, what can you do to boost your well-being, are things like doing some exercise, some movement, spending some, oh great, some of you are typing some is, skiing, exercise, spending time outdoors, fantastic. I'm hitting eat healthily, so getting the right good diet. Jackie, you're on in tune with me. Socializing, mixing with others. Hank, you said listening to music. There it is on my list. Being out in nature, that was Catherine. Practicing my baritone horn, fantastic. That's music as well. Fresh air, being with friends, yes, love it. Pampering yourself, going to the spa, even getting your hair cut, having a massage, stroking a cat or a dog, whatever works for you. In fact, if you look on Google, you'll find hundreds of things that are good for your well-being. This list is not exhaustive. I just put a few things on here. Mall walking, that's shopping, I think. Go Brazilian, just to explain that, that's not an intimate haircut. That is a form of South American aerobics. In fact, it's got to the point that this is where well-being is in certain quarters now. Well-being, modern well-being, spelt wrongly with a hyphen, is in fact a toilet. That's what modern well-being is. It's a toilet, not any old toilet, a squirty toilet. Look at that. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I like to feel nice and clean and fresh coming off the toilet. I'm not necessarily sure it's about well-being, but it's not surprising that the marketers have got hold of well-being. It makes total sense to them, doesn't it? Join my gym, buy my product, buy my toilet, spend your money and your well-being will increase. If only it was always true like that. So personally, I think it's the wrong way around. All of those things put well-being as an end point. Join my gym, eat healthily, go for a walk, do this, do that, and your well-being will improve. That's not how it is. Well-being isn't an outcome. It's not a destination. Well-being is our starting point. And what I mean by that is that every single one of us comes into this world chock-block full of the ability to experience well-being and happiness. And our evidence for this is your typical 3-year-old child. As long as they're not tired or hungry or thirsty, as long as they don't feel insecure because they don't know where mum or dad is, perhaps, they're just happy. You don't have to teach them how to be happy. They are just happy. It just happens automatically. And that ability to experience profound happiness is within all of us. And it stays within all of us right throughout our entire lives. So why aren't we all running around like happy little toddlers? Well, unlike the 3-year-olds, our well-being gets masked. It gets hidden behind layer upon layer of stress and worry and responsibilities and all the challenges and the issues and the emotional scars that we pick up as we go through our lives. And those things cover up our well-being. So our well-being gets covered up and masked, and we stop experiencing it. And occasionally we forget about all those issues, don't we? I don't know, if we're lost in a really good book, or we're absorbed watching a great film, or on a good night out with friends, or on a brilliant holiday, we forget about all those issues. They disappear. And the well-being just happens. And then we come back from the holiday, Sunday night, Monday morning, all the issues come back, the well-being disappears again. So when it comes to well-being, let me illustrate this with a little story. So we have well-being here, which I've kind of indicated with a triangle lying on its side, and then we have anxiety. It's not possible to experience well-being and a lot of anxiety at the same time. They're kind of mutually exclusive. So let's say you're doing something that makes your well-being good. Let's say you've gone mall walking, you've gone to the shops, the great pastime of going out and spending some money. You have taken with you a 3-year-old child. Maybe it's your child, maybe a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, son or daughter of a friend, whoever it is. You love this child dearly, and while you're out shopping, they are solely in your responsibility. You're having a great time, probably not getting much shopping done because you've got a 3-year-old with you, but it's great fun. And as you walk around the mall, you then bump into someone who you know. You stop and have a 2-minute conversation with them. You take your eyes off the child, and when you turn around after 2 minutes, you cannot see them. But you think, oh, they're probably just hiding behind a big flower pot or something, whatever it is in the mall. So they'll appear in any second now. But after 2 minutes, they haven't appeared. You start calling their names, start running around. You're moving from the left of this diagram rapidly towards the right. The well-being is decreasing. The anxiety is increasing. After 10 minutes, when they haven't shown up, now any shopping that you had is probably scattered. You're running up to people. Have you seen this little boy? Describing him to them. After 30 minutes, you're in a world of pain. And I guarantee that no matter how logical, no matter how rational you are as a person, all the names of any kids you've ever heard of who've been taken, kidnapped. In the UK, there's a few that we talk about regularly, Jamie Bulger and Madeleine McCann. Those names will be going through your head. There's no well-being left at this point. It is all anxiety. And it's the worst kind. It's not you that's in trouble. It's a defenseless 3-year-old child. Well, if someone came up to you at that point and said, do you fancy joining my walking club? We go outdoors every weekend. Or here's a cat. Would you like to stroke it? It wouldn't have a huge effect, would it? In fact, I wouldn't want to be the person trying to sell you a membership to an outdoor walking club at that point. So it's a slightly facetious example, but it shows that the only thing that would solve the issue is solving the problem. The problem being there's a missing 3-year-old child. So, and it's the issue I see too often, that where people, especially in the corporate world, they throw a lot of money at well-being. They'll have lovely rooms with bean bags in.
Oh, sorry. I'm putting on the headphones.
I'll
go in the bedroom. It's okay, I'm putting on headphones.
Hey, Leslie.
I enjoyed the fact that someone said they were going in the bedroom. That's an insight. That's an insight. So it's the problem I see in the corporate world is they throw a lot of money, but they don't. If underlying that there's a toxic management culture or there's a threat of redundancies for everyone, then it doesn't make any difference to people's well-being. Solve the problem and the well-being just happens. So just in case you're worried about this imaginary 3-year-old boy, after 35 minutes of torture on your behalf, you see the big friendly security guard walking towards you hand in hand with the little boy, safe and sound. You run over to him, it's hugs, it's kisses. Eventually the security guard says, get off. And you fall to your knees, you embrace the little boy, and it's tears of relief, tears of joy. And in that moment, all your anxiety disappears. You move from the extreme right to the extreme left, but not just the anxiety about the lost little boy, all your other anxieties disappear as well. All the day-to-day stuff that goes on in all our minds just goes because suddenly everything is put into perspective by what's truly important in life. So when it comes to well-being, let's keep it really simple. Because if you don't, you get stuff like this. So a typical definition of well-being that you could get from Google very easily would be something like well-being is a multifaceted concept that encompasses various aspects of a person's life and experiences. It goes beyond simply feeling happy, beyond happy. I mean, most of us would accept happy, wouldn't we? We don't want to go beyond happy. But no, well-being is apparently beyond happiness or feeling satisfied and involves a holistic, which sometimes we're confused by, state of physical, mental, and social health. And then it goes on to talk about all these concepts of emotional well-being, psychological, social, physical, occupational, spiritual, environmental, and financial well-being. Well, most of us are completely overwhelmed at this point. We can't deal with all this. It's just too much. It doesn't fit into our lives. So let me offer a much more simple and hopefully reassuring version of well-being. Well-being is needs met. So your needs, physical needs, oxygen, food, water, shelter, temperature regulation, movement, sleep. Most of us take those for granted. We are lucky. So needs met, those are the physical needs, but we also have emotional needs, of course. The same for everyone on the planet. And if we're getting our emotional needs met in positive, productive, sustainable ways, we're a happy bunny. You know, I'm not saying it's easy to get our emotional needs met. Sometimes it's challenging, but the process of getting them met, when they're all met, bingo. So you get your needs met plus joy. We need some joy to make the whole thing work. And when those two things come together, the well-being just happens. And I'd like you to remember that well-being is essentially our default setting. So when everything else is equal, when everything is good, you don't have to do anything. Well-being just happens automatically. It's nature's greatest gift to us, that our well-being is automatic. It's built in. When our needs are met and when there's a bit of joy in our life, the well-being, you don't have to do anything, it just happens. That's how easy it is. So what about the joy factor? Oh, well, let me leave you with this message. I'm getting ahead of myself. When it comes to well-being, don't buy what you've already got. What I mean by that is, yes, join a gym, have your hair cut, have a massage, go with friends, meet with friends, go for a walk, stroke the cat, do all those nice things. They're great. But if fundamentally you're not addressing the issues in your life, if you're not trying to solve those issues, and I know it's very easy for me to say, yes, address and solve the issues. I mean, sometimes that's straightforward. Sometimes it's really complex. Sometimes you can't address the issues. You just have to live with them. But even the living with them is partly addressing them, acknowledging them. Don't buy what you've already got. Deal with the challenges, and the well-being happens automatically. Okay, let's get on to the joy bit. Let's uplift the mood after my heavy well-being stuff. Okay, creating a culture of joy. Happiness is something that we experience as a result of an event or successes or achievements perceived to be positive in nature and is generally transient. You know, we're not permanently living in a state of happiness, even the happiest people. It comes and goes, it fluctuates, and it tends to be reliant on external factors, whereas joy is subtly different. Joy comes from within. It is something that you can initiate when you commit to being happy in the present moment, regardless of circumstances. It's a choice. Joy is something you press the button on. So how do we express joy? And this is the same for every human on the planet. The ways in which we express joy. The obvious one, we smile and we laugh. But here's the kicker. Ideally, we need eye contact. Okay, so given that we're all sitting behind a computer and we're not really in touch with each other, like this is the best I can do for eye contact with you, but then I can't see what's going on my computer. So if I want to see I'm looking down here. So the whole eye contact thing through Zoom is a minefield. Do what you can. So laughing and smiling with eye contact, clapping, or at least bringing the hands together, making some noise, drumming your hands on your legs, on your chest, on your tummy, whatever, hitting the desk. People all over the world, yes, great news. That's what we do. It's automatic. We clap. We dance. I keep the slides there. No one needs to see me dancing. I am dancing right at this moment. You'll have to believe me. But we move in positive ways. We move our bodies when we are happy, and we sing as well. We vocalize. Now, all of these things in the UK, and I understand it's the same in the US, we will do very willingly when we've had a lot to drink. That's the truth. You go to someone's wedding early on when you haven't had much to drink. I'm not dancing. I'm not singing. I'm going to sit down and let the happy couple dance and sing. That's their job. By 10 o'clock in the evening, when you've had a lot to drink, now no one can stop you from dancing and singing. That's the truth. We in the West tend to like alcohol to help oil the wheels. In other cultures around the world, they don't do that. They don't need the alcohol. So this is the joy activation formula. Today, I will be letting you off the dancing and the singing, but I won't be letting you off the laughing, the eye contact, and a bit of clapping. You know, when I explain this to people, often I think people fall into a few camps. Some of you will be like, John, get on with it. I cannot wait. I'm really, really keen to get going with this. Some of you will be looking for an excuse to leave the Zoom now. You'll be like, oh my God, he's going to make us laugh. And I was in that camp when I first came across this. Very briefly, in the pandemic, when we had the lockdown in the UK, all my work with Nike and Dow and Merck, and I was traveling all over the world. In 2019, I had my best year ever from a business perspective. And in March 2020, all of that stopped. Car crash. My wife had left her job as an academic in the university to work in my business with me. So we've got 2 teenage kids, and my elderly mother lives on the ground floor of our house. So we were all in, and suddenly there's no income, and we got no idea. Now we look back at the pandemic, we know how it worked out. Then we didn't know. So by the summer, we were burning through our savings, our retirement savings, at a rate of knots. And I was feeling pretty down about things. And my website designer knew that. And she said, John, have you thought about trying laughter yoga to improve your mood? And I was like, quite frankly, no, I haven't. It was about the furthest thing from my mind. I was really, I said, are you real? She said, yeah, you should try it. I did it online. It was great. So I went online. She talked me into it. I went there, arms folded. Yeah, come on then. I was really skeptical. About 10 minutes in, I was converted. Best thing ever. And then I started researching the science behind it. And I realized that it's not just laughter. There's a whole other thing going on when we laugh. It's more than just an expression of humor. We haven't got time to go into everything today, but I will tell you a little bit about that. So, back to my slides. Laughter is vastly underrated, hugely underused, and completely undervalued as a universal way of improving our mood, our health, and society in general. And here's the thing, it's free and virtually everyone can do it. You know, laughter is a form of exercise. That's fundamentally what it is. Most of the forms of exercise, there's a barrier to entry. You need a certain level of physical ability to go running, say. You need some equipment, some trainers, some running gear. You need somewhere to go running, a gym with a treadmill or a safe place you can run outside. Laughter can be done anywhere by virtually anyone. Costs nothing. So what are the benefits of laughter? Well, just very briefly, and this is not all of them, this is just some of them. Laughter increases our immune system function by up to 40%. So if you have a compromised immune system, laugh your way through it. It releases endorphins and dopamine. These are the feel-good, happy chemicals, the things that make you feel good, the neurotransmitters that do good stuff to you. It increases your circulation, which helps to get oxygen all around your body. Incredibly important, great for good health. It improves the quality of your sleep. At the same time, it decreases the cortisol and the adrenaline. I've just remembered, you call adrenaline something different. Norepinephrine, I can't remember what it's called in America, but anyway, these are the stress hormones. It stabilizes your blood. If your blood pressure is too high, it brings it down. If it's too low, it brings it up. It reduces your perception of pain, and it reduces your anxiety levels. These are just the physiological things it does. In terms of your emotions, it improves your confidence and your self-belief, and increases your connection to others. When we laugh with people, we feel closer to them. It reduces your negative thoughts, which are implicated in depression and all sorts of other mental health issues, and it stops you from feeling sad and lonely. That is the power of laughter. And there are many other things, too many to go through. So, with all of that said, let's do some laughter. So this is the point where I would encourage you to, Norma, are you able to perhaps make me smaller so we can see other people?
Yes, there you go. Got you on gallery view. And
if everyone can turn their microphones on, please. I want to hear people. Is that going to be catastrophically bad, do you think, Norma? Is it going to be crazy?
Let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
If it turns out that you can't hear me, or it's just a crazy bombardment of noise, we'll go back to muted. But let's see. So here we go. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what you're able to do. I'm standing. You can do this in sitting, in standing. Do what is safe for you to do. Okay, laughter noises. Let's start off with the most basic laughter noise. Can you make this noise, please? Ha! 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 Now, some of you are laughing already. We've only made one laugh. We've got this crazy delay going on, which I'm sure you have experienced. Let's try it. Let's step it up. Ha ha. And then ha ha ha. Okay, very good. Very good. Now we're going next level. This is the deep belly laugh. This is the Father Christmas laugh. Make this noise. Ho.
Oh,
Ho. Ho ho. Ho ho ho. Okay, and then the third level, the third element of laughter. All laughs are made of these three elements. This is advanced, okay? This is the high, slightly giggly, slightly hysterical, losing control laughter noise. That is hee. Make that noise. Lovely. Let's try this. It's going to be chaos, I know, because of the delay. If we were live, we'd all be perfectly in sync, but we're not. We're not live. So you've got this massive delay going on, which is fantastic. Do this with me, okay? Use your hands, get them out in front like you've got a huge belly, like Father Christmas, and go ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now we're going to repeat that and speed it up, okay? Just go with it. Don't question it. Don't analyze it. Just go with it. Here we go. Ho, ho, ho. Now, you guys are brilliant for having a go. Let me ask you, what was going through your mind when you were doing that? I'm going to second guess. I'm not looking for answers. I'm going to second guess. Some of you are really enjoying it. Some of you have got a little voice in your head that's saying things like, this is really silly. I feel stupid. I must look ridiculous. What will people think? Okay, so that voice is normal. Everyone who first does this has the voice to some degree. I had it. It is your ego speaking. Yeah, the ego. And it is your enemy in this case. And the only advice I can give is you have to get over yourself. There's no way around it. You have got to put your ego in its place because it's not helping you in this place. In effect, what you're doing is allowing yourself to be a kid. Kids just, hello, we've got all sorts of wonderful music going on. Can whoever's tuning their radio, please leave it until later. Okay, let's do some more laughter stuff. Shake your hands like this. Shake your hands. Okay, march on the spot. If you're sitting down, just get your knees up and down in the chair. If you're standing up, march on the spot. Put a smile on your face. Yes, make some eye contact. It's weird and slightly creepy. March a bit faster, shake the hands a bit faster, smile a bit bigger, laugh a bit louder. You're multitasking. You suddenly realize you're walking along, someone's following you. Oh, you look behind, slightly nervous laugh. Oh, give me a nervous laugh. You've had enough of them following, but you turn around, you confront them, and you tell them off by wagging your finger at them, but it's a laughter telling off. So you laugh as you're telling them off. You realize actually that your eyesight has let you down and it's your best friend who's following you because you dropped your keys and they were running after you to give them to so now you want them to forgive you for telling them off. So you do the forgiveness laugh. You spread your hands out wide from your heart and you say, oh, can you forgive me? If you ever have an argument, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can send a heart to them. I'm
sorry.
You can even, if you really want to, send them the love laugh. And that's like this. You start with your hands on your heart and you go, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Come on out, there needs a bit of love, isn't it? Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Fantastic. You are doing it. I tell you, the first time is really tough, especially on Zoom. If you're live, the energy, we're all in the room together, everyone's making eye contact, we're all buzzing. On Zoom, it's harder. Those of you who've got a friend with you or a partner or a family member, it's a bit easier when there's someone in the room with you because you can look at them and think, God, are we crazy? And that makes you laugh as well. Okay, this is the clapping bit. Whenever anyone does this kind of stuff, laughter yoga, they always clap in this same rhythm. Watch me first, and then you can join in. The rhythm is very easy. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But we don't count. No, that would be too easy. We make the laughter noises. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha. Do it with me. Ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, and then we finish. Sometimes it feels like it's never going to finish that bit. We finish by doing this. Do this with me. Very good. Very good. Yay! Throw your hands in the air. Shout, yay!
Very
Very good. Hey, one more. Very good. Very good.
Very good.
Yay!
If you don't do any of this in the future, the one thing I would encourage you to do is the very good, yay. Do it to yourself first thing in the morning.
Yay!
There are so many positive things with the very good, yay. Briefly, the words are positive. So it's not, and here's the thing, it's not a description of how you feel right now. You might not feel very good. I mean, I get that. It's a statement of intent. How do you want to feel a minute from now, an hour, a month, a year? I want to feel very good. So you say what you want. Very good, yay. Clapping the hands stimulates all the acupressure points in the hands, and that energizes us. Shouting it out loud gets lots of oxygen into our system. Throwing our hands in the air like this is a power pose. Yeah, very popular in the corporate world. This is the body language of a winner. I am a winner. I am not letting life beat me. And the reality is, little kids do this all the time. You watch kids in a primary school, grade school, they're all running, yay, yay. They feel like winners. You know, like life hasn't worn them down yet. As adults, it could be weeks, months, or years since we last celebrated something with our hands in the air. So feel like a winner. It sends a message to the world. It sends a message to you. We are very good at hearing negative things from the outside world. We are not so good at receiving positive things from the outside world. Sometimes we need to tell ourselves the positive things. And very good, yay is the quickest, easiest thing to do. So use it first thing in the morning. Do it during the day. Do it before you go to bed at night. Run around your bedroom. Very good, yay! Very good, yay! It will remind you to laugh as well. Okay, I think I've given you an idea. I'm very aware that we have some questions, maybe. I'm hoping. If we don't, we can do some more laughter stuff. So you probably do want to think of some questions, or you're going to be subjected to more of this. So if you wouldn't mind, Norma, just spotlighting me again.
There you go.
We're very near the end. So my key takeaways for you. Anyone else warm? Instant well-being, key takeaways. Here they are. Remember your definition of well-being. Needs met, whatever they are. They're simple. The emotional needs, look them up. There's only about 8 of them. They're dead straightforward. They're obvious as well. You know, society helps us, teaches us. The job of a functioning society is to help children know how to get their emotional needs met in positive, productive ways. Parents, coaches, teachers, elders, aunts, uncles, in a functioning society, those people help little ones understand innately how to get their emotional needs met in positive, constructive ways. And when that happens, bingo, that's one happy bunny. If you throw joy into it as well, activating joy, and it, you know, when your needs are all being met, the joy is just there. But for many of us, the needs are not being met. For many of you, your need to be healthy is not being met. So we need to help it along a bit, and that's where the joy activation formula comes in. Use the joy activation formula: smiling and laughing with eye contact, clapping, vocalizing, drumming your hands, playing a musical instrument, singing, dancing, moving. All of those things help to activate joy. You look at any society, any civilization, any culture, and those things are what they do when they are celebrating a harvest that worked, celebrating someone becoming an adult, celebrating people getting married. When things are good, we celebrate, and the joy activation formula is applied. Use it every day. You'll never run out. It's a limitless supply. Don't worry about using it up. I've used up all my joy for this week. I'll have to wait till Monday next week before. No, it doesn't work like that. It's limitless. And then lastly, this is really important. None of us knows what life's got in store for us. No one does. As my Scottish friend, who I'm going around to see later, is fond of telling me, he's a typical Scot. He's a bit dour, a bit negative at times. He's the same age as me, late 50s. And the other week we were out for a drink, and he said, "Oh, John, we're in Sniper's Alley now." Meaning anything could get us. I'm like, thanks, Martin. That's really cheerful. Come out for a quiet drink. But he's right. You don't know what life's, you guys have got a challenge that most other people don't have. A health challenge. But everyone's got something. And whether your challenge is big or small, you still don't know what's round the corner. And that's why it's essential that if you can, you do not let a day go by without laughter. Even on your own. I will laugh. I know you'll laugh at this, but I laugh when I'm in the shower. And I laugh when I'm brushing my teeth. Your mouth is open anyway. You may as well. And then when I'm in the shower, what I find is the more I laugh, the more I can laugh. We have a saying in physical therapy, and I'm sure it's the same with your physical therapist there. You use it or you lose it. And laughter is the same. If you're not using it, suddenly it gets hard to laugh. You forget how. You don't feel like doing it. When you laugh a lot, you laugh a lot. You keep laughing more. I would suggest a really nice thing to do is, if some of you are in touch with each other, you create a WhatsApp group and you just call it Laughter WhatsApp Group, and you video yourself or you record yourself laughing. 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. And you put it on the group, and they get it, and it's you laughing. And what do you think they're going to react? They're just going to laugh as well. And they send it back. And now you've got your day up and going. And here's something I forgot to mention, that some of you might be thinking, yeah, but John, this is fake laughter. I need a good joke to laugh at, or I need to watch my favorite TV comedy show. But that's putting laughter subjective. You know, if I tell a joke, some of you might laugh, some of you won't laugh. It's not funny to you. When you choose to laugh, you don't need a joke. And then people will say, yeah, but that's fake. Your fake laugh, it's a fake news. That's a fake laughter you're doing there. And I say to that, well, do you know anyone who goes running? Most people say, yeah, you know, so-and-so goes running every day, really into it, does half marathons or whatever. And I say, well, when they go running, is it a fake run or is it a real run? Well, it's a real run. And I say, well, it's only a real run if there's a wolf chasing them. If there's no survival imperative associated with running, it's a fake run. And it sounds dark, but you have to make yourself, if there's a wolf behind you, you don't have to make yourself run, you just run. If there's not a wild animal chasing you, you have to make yourself run. First, okay, here we go, yeah. And then you're into it. And it's the same with this laughter. I've got confirming your speaking language, Portuguese. No, let's say no to that. So you've got to make yourself laugh. It's not fake laughter, it's just getting it going. Okay, where are you? So build laughter, fun and joy into every day. And finally, if you've enjoyed this, please share the information with others, remind each other, use it. If I've raised any issues that affect you, someone close to you, do not hesitate to contact me. You can email me, john@johnwellbeing.com, and that's my website, johnwellbeing.com. I'm very happy to try and provide information, advice, point you in the right direction. Finally, before I finish and I take some questions, I realize we've run out of time. I run a free online laughter class every Tuesday. It's from 8 to 8:20 in the evening for us in the UK.
You are terrible.
I've timed this on UTC, Kentucky. I think Norma's in Kentucky. 3 to 3:20 p.m. in the afternoon. You can scan that QR code. If you don't get the link here and now, I will send it to Norma. She can send it out to you. It's completely free. You have to register to get on the system, but once you've got the Zoom link, you use the same Zoom link week in, week out, as often as you like. Please come and join. Lots of people with Parkinson's disease are on there. People from all over the world join. It would be lovely to have you there. Okay, we've got some time for some questions, have we? I hope so.
Yes, we do have some time for some questions, and we do have a question over in the chat box. Mary, would you like to ask that question publicly, or do you want me to do that?
Can you do that?
Sure. So what we're wondering, do these things generate joy by having laughter and clapping? Does that express joy, and does that actually generate joy for us?
Yes, it does. All things being equal, when you laugh, when you smile, the main thing is the connection with other people. So yes, it works when you're on your own. It works much better when you're with other people, of course. We are social people. We're social animals. So when you make eye contact with someone and you smile and you laugh, even if they don't know why you're smiling and laughing, we have mirror neurons, brain cells that make us want to smile and laugh when we see someone else smiling and laughing, even if we don't know what they're smiling and laughing about. So if you do the clapping, very good, yay, and you laugh and you make eye contact, it's very hard for someone to resist feeling that sense of joy as well. So yeah, I get it. If you're from a standing start, if you're coming from a position of zero joy in your life for whatever reason, then it may take a bit longer, a bit more effort. But the process works. You've got to try it though.
Well, and not only, John, the process works, but it actually has proven that our endorphins are raised and our bodies actually feel healthier and lighter and capable of handling whatever kind of stress may come at us if we keep our joy meter a little higher. Would that be right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The research on, so right now we think that laughter is where, so meditation, mindfulness, breath work, where that was about 30 years ago, as in 30 years ago, it was like, okay, you're into meditation. Yeah, you're a little bit Californian at the, at the risk of offending anyone on the call from California, but it was a bit hippy dippy. It was a bit out there. It was a bit new wave, new age. Now, you know, so many people do those things. It's mainstream. Laughter is going that way. Sarah, I can see fake it until you make it. You could not be more correct. Fake it until you make it. That's what the laughter is. When you laugh in a group, before you know it, it's real.
I've also learned to just on my own. So like say if I'm, struggling, then I do the fake smile, but it's cool because the fake smile will make me laugh. Then I feel so much better.
You are absolutely right. The other thing you can do, I haven't got my phone with me, but if you're out and about somewhere and you want to laugh, if you're just, I don't know, sitting on the bus, walking around, you start laughing on your own, people look at you and start thinking, what's going on? If you have your phone, so I'm using my glasses case because I haven't got my phone here, and you're not making a call to anyone, you just, yeah, I know. Yeah. Now it's totally normal. No one's questioning that. Yeah. You can laugh as much as you want in any situation these days, and it's completely acceptable. So use a phone as a prop.
And Beatty mentions over here that she has looked at comedy shows with Graham Norton. That's wonderful, Beatty. I'll have to check those out.
Graham Norton he's a chat show host over here. Yeah, it's a great one. He has all sorts of guests.
Yeah, his humor is fabulous.
He is very funny. You're absolutely right. And there's nothing wrong with using TV shows, YouTube clips, TikTok, anything. If you see it on there, it gets you laughing, great. Don't be 100% reliant on it, though. That's the downside, because if suddenly you can't access the internet or the jokes stop being funny, now you stop laughing. We want the laughter to come from within. That's when it's, so you're autonomous. Graham Norton is very funny, but get it from within as well.
That's great. That is exactly right. Does anybody else have any questions? I hear my clock going off at 1, and we normally try to keep our SPF talks to 1. If there is one more question, then we'll be glad to take that. Let's see. Wait a minute. I do have one over here in the chat box. Do you have any strategies for that feeling of sadness that follows laughter when the knowledge of your life circumstances comes flooding in?
That is a really good question. And I would say to that, keep laughing.
Well, and perhaps maybe
don't stop the laughter.
Well, and maybe sometimes what you need to do is just have that cry.
Yeah,
allow that cry to wash over you, but wash it over you and release it. And then go back to try to find that joy that you have in your life, wherever that may be.
That's a good point. And the reality is that laughter is very close to crying. Often people, when they laugh, when they first do this, especially in a live class, if they've got lots of challenges in their life, they'll cry. The laughter makes them cry. They'll cry with laughter, but then they will cry as well. Because when you let one emotion out, what do you know? Sometimes other ones come out as well. So sometimes the laughter is a really good conduit to help you get stuff out. And it doesn't mean, I wouldn't say don't do the laughter because afterwards it's kind of you suddenly remember, how bad your life is after do the laughter anyway. Laughter is respite care for your emotions. It gives them a break, gives them some time off from the reality.
I love that. And she says absolutely nothing wrong with a good cry, and it's perfect for those folks that have clinical depression. So you've got to find ways to allow that joy to well up into your heart and express itself on your face. find something, whether it's a book or whether it's a sunrise, or you got to find some way to allow that joy to escape. If not, you feel all the pressures of what we're dealing with. And when your body feels already heavy and you really can't get yourself walking and moving, you got to find some way to get that off of your shoulders and allow at least your mind and your body to become as one, and that you can express yourself with some joy and some laughter.
Absolutely. I couldn't put it better myself, Norma. Brilliant.
Well, it has been a pleasure, Jon, watching you, but more importantly, watching all of these folks have laughter about themselves. And I was just kept clicking through all these little thumbnails, watching you guys laugh. And I really appreciate that. And I think sometimes we just need to get together and just have a good laugh or have a good cry. Maybe the same thing happening in the same session. I think that would be an opportunity for us just to continue to check on each other and have the well-being of what's happening in our lives, and understand where we all are in our lives. But for all of you that have appreciated Jon's laughter this afternoon, I want you to do something with me and for me. I want you to go, very, very good, yay.
Very, very, very good.
Very good.
Yay.
Just to say, Norma, there's some lovely comments coming in.
Okay.
Thank you. I've not laughed in a long time. Daily, from Leslie. Try to make strangers smile by smiling at them. Thank you for sharing this information. We'll share with others. You know, it's got to start somewhere.
Yes,
It starts with you. And
Yes,
before
it
you
does.
know, the laughter spreads.
Each one of us. Well, Jon, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate your being with us.
Very good, very good. Yay!